I need you to understand something before I start. I was not the kind of person who checked her husband's phone. 8 years together. I trusted him completely. And then one Tuesday morning, while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. I wasn't going to look. I really wasn't. But the name on the screen stopped me cold. And everything I knew about my marriage fell apart in about 45 seconds. Let me tell you who we were, because context matters here. Marcus and I met when I was 24. He was 27. We met at a work event. I was a contractor for his company. We ended up at the same table at some networking dinner, and we talked until the venue made us leave. He was funny in this quiet, dry way. Confident but not arrogant. He asked me about my life like he actually wanted to know the answers. We dated for 2 years, moved in together, got engaged, got married. We bought a house. We talked about kids. We had a life. A real, full, functioning life. People who knew us used to say we were one of those couples. The ones where you think, okay, if those two can't make it, no one can. I'm saying that because it matters for what comes next. In 8 years, I never had a real reason to doubt him. Small things here and there. He worked late sometimes. He was on his phone more some weeks, but nothing that felt like a signal. I was not paying attention. It was a Tuesday. Completely ordinary. I was making coffee. He was in the shower. His phone was on the kitchen counter charging. It buzzed. I glanced over, just a reflex, and I saw the name on the notification preview. It was a woman's name. Someone I knew. Not a close friend, but someone in our life. Someone who had been in our home. Seeing her name wasn't automatically alarming. She was a mutual acquaintance. But the preview text was not a work message. It was not a casual check-in. It was intimate in a way that hit me like cold water. I could hear the shower still running. I had maybe 2 minutes. I picked up his phone. His passcode was our anniversary. I'd known it for years. Never had any reason to use it. I opened the messages. It took about 45 seconds to read enough. 45 seconds to understand that the marriage I thought I had was not the marriage I actually had. It had been going on for 14 months. 14 months. That's not a mistake. That's not a moment of weakness. That's a parallel life. Over 100 times he kissed me goodbye and then picked up his phone the moment I left the room. And then I found the part that broke something in me that I don't think is fully fixed even now. There was a conversation from about 6 months ago. They were talking about the future, and he had written, I remember the exact words, he had written, I just need to figure out the right time. He had been planning to leave me. He just hadn't decided when. I put the phone back exactly where it had been. I walked to the bathroom door. I heard the shower turn off, and I made a decision about what to do next. I didn't confront him that morning. I needed to think. I needed to know what I wanted before I blew everything up. Because once I said the words, there was no unsaying them. He came downstairs, we had breakfast, he kissed me on the cheek, he left for work. I sat at the kitchen table for 3 hours. I thought about 14 months. I tried to map it against my memory, to find the signs I'd missed. I kept landing on the same answer. I hadn't missed the signs because I hadn't been looking. I had trusted him completely, and he had used that trust like a cover. I called my sister. She was there in 40 minutes. I told her everything, and then I started making a plan. I gave myself 3 days. 3 days to get clear, talk to a lawyer, and decide how I wanted to handle this. When Marcus came home on Friday evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table, calm, no dinner on the stove. No music on, just me waiting. He noticed immediately. He said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I read your messages." The silence that followed was the loudest thing I've ever experienced. He didn't deny it. He sat down. He put his face in his hands. And then he said, "I was going to tell you." I asked him when. He didn't answer. I told him he had until Sunday to get his things. I told him I had already spoken to a lawyer. I told him whatever he wanted to explain. I didn't need to hear it right now. Maybe not ever. He cried. I didn't. I had already done my crying. Those 3 days, alone, I had cried more than I thought was physically possible. By Friday, I had nothing left. He left Saturday morning. People always want to know about the other woman. I didn't confront her. I decided my energy was too valuable to spend on someone who owed me nothing. He was the one who made a vow to me. He was the one who chose every day for 14 months to lie to my face. She reached out to me about 2 weeks later. She said she was sorry, that she hadn't known I didn't know, that things were more complicated than they seemed. I read it. I didn't respond. There's nothing she could have said that would have changed anything. That was 14 months ago, which means the affair lasted exactly as long as it took me to rebuild. I don't think that's a coincidence. The divorce was finalized 7 months ago. It was painful and expensive and exhausting, but it's done. I live alone now for the first time in my adult life. I'm 34 and I've never lived alone. I went from my parents' house to roommates to Marcus. And I want to tell you something that surprised me. It's okay. More than okay. There is a version of quiet that I have found in this apartment that I don't think I've ever had before. I'm not going to tell you I'm completely healed. I'm not. There are days when I get angry in a way that scares me. Not at him, exactly, but at the time, at the years. At the version of myself who was so trusting she didn't see what was right in front of her. But I'm also not going to tell you that trust is something you should protect by never giving it. What I'm learning, slowly, imperfectly, is the difference between trusting someone and outsourcing your own attention. I was paying attention to the wrong things. I won't make that mistake again. If you've been through something like this, drop a comment. I read every single one. Subscribe if you want to follow this journey. I'll always be honest with you. I'll see you in the next one.